So I'm like, why would you be texting me about his mom? Like, I haven't seen that lady in years. I haven't seen him in years. Why would you think I would, not to sound like cruel or anything, like I would care? Like, for real. Like, they haven't been in my children's life, so why would I even care if she passed? Like, and it's not to be like mean. Well, I know it sounds mean, but it is true. Like, I have no ties to them, and especially my children. Like, my son was like a baby when she was watching him. So after that, I blocked him on because I followed him. It was so sad, and the reason why, the little bit of cuteness that he did have just went out the window. Because if you could do business with a shady ass motherfucker like that, you know good yourself. And mind you, we followed each other for years on Instagram and Facebook, and I seen what a dedicated father he is, or he was. I don't know. I don't follow him no more, but he was like really involved in his son's life, to the point where his son ended up like getting a NFL deal and everything, went to college. He was like really active in his son's life. And even like, I think the year before I had my youngest son, he ended up having a baby too. So I already knew you was shady anyways. But for you to do business with the first person I had children with, you already showing your characteristics. And I don't know what he was telling Scrappy, but he's a deadbeat. And for you to be hanging around a deadbeat, that shows a lot of your character. Like, why would you even associate? I don't care if it's business, because he's shady his damn self. So I knew whatever business venture y'all was going through, I knew it was not going to get off the ground, because this is very selfish. And he's shady as hell. So for you to try to do business with him, I know you crooked yourself. So mind you too, like his sister would, the first person I had children with, his sister would like randomly like hit me up like on Facebook, or so I would give her I would give her my number, and then she would ask about my kids. Like, she only seen my oldest son, but she's never met my daughter. Same way with their mom. They only know my oldest son. They've never met my oldest daughter. So I tried to keep that relationship with them, but like I said, like it doesn't work out. So the next day, I get this call, and when I hello, he's like, "Hey, buddy." That's his usual, like, when he doesn't know what to say, that's what he'll say to me. Like, how the hell this man get my number? Like, this is a brand new number. Automatically, I thought his sister gave it to him. So he calls me and he's like, how you doing? I'm like, I'm good. And then he was like, well, I got some bad news. And I'm like, okay, what's the bad news? He's like, my mom passed away. I was like, oh, I'm sorry for your loss. Just like that. And he was like, well, I want, and we're doing all the funeral arrangements in Orlando. So I want, first he said my son. And then he was like, I want the kids to come. And I'm like, come for what? He's like, I want them to be at the funeral because, my mom used to watch, our oldest son. And, I want the family to meet him and my oldest daughter. So I was like, let me check with them if he wants to go, just like that. Because like I said, I'm not the type of person, unless you've done something physically harm or something malicious to my child, I'm not going to keep you away from your child. And mind you, my son is like 14, 15 around this time. He hasn't seen his dad since he was 5, 6 years old. And since that last time he popped up when I was with the second person I had children with. So I had my son the phone, and it's like 10, 15 minutes. And I'm like, once he gets off the phone, I'm going to text his sister, like, why would you give your brother my phone number? But I already knew by the end of the conversation, like, he sent Scrappy to inbox me to see how I felt about the whole situation with him. Because why would you, Like, we don't even talk. We never even talked on that dynamic of you even to mention the first person I have children with to me. So my son ends up giving me back the phone, and I was like, so he said, yeah, he's gonna go. And I said, he said he gonna go. He's like, yeah. So I was like, oh, okay. He's like, I'm gonna drive up there tomorrow to come get him. Come get them. I was shocked because I already know my does not already has some ill will towards him or whatever. And it was not because of me. So I'm like, okay, so I hang up, not thinking about like, okay, how does he know where I stay or anything like that. I'm just kind of blown. So I text his sister, like, did you give your brother my number? Because he ended up calling me about your mom, and then she ended up calling me, and she was like, oh my God, why would you think I would do something like that? I told you the drama that we went through, and this, but I knew she was lying because she's made a comment like he's never met her son. But when I went like cognito on his page, because he blocked me on Facebook. When I went on cognito on his page, he has a picture of him in New York, because she's in New York, with holding her daughter. So I already knew, like, you're lying. Like, you're literally lying, because there's pictures of him holding your daughter. So she was like, oh, I would never do that. So what did, my oldest son? I said, well, I guess my oldest son is going. And she was like, no, I would never do that. I would ask you first, blase, swaze. So I hang up with her. So I go in the room, and I'm like, you really going? He's like, no. My oldest son said, no, I'm not going. I just want him to meet, my oldest daughter, which is his sister. And he's like, because he's never met her, and it's about time they meet each other. For the simple fact too, because he didn't like the second person I had children with, and then he knows like who her real dad is, which is his dad, which they say the same dad or whatever, but he's never seen her like since she was a baby. Like, now she's like 12 around this time. So it's been like 11 years since he like seen her. No, yeah, 11 years since he actually seen her.